Hey everybody, it is a super Saturday. It is about evening time here in the great state of Louisiana, where I am broadcasting from, bringing you another episode of Staying Super with your old pal, SimplySuperDave. I hope everybody has had a wonderful week. As you know, this is the celebration day. The day you need to get out and just go touch the grass. Even if it's a lazy drive. You know, those are really kind of reserved for Sundays, and I kind of get that. Saturday, you're out to go somewhere. You're ready to go do something. You have plans. Maybe it isn't to go out at all. Maybe it's to conquer that certain game. Maybe it's to do some content creations and maybe pop up a stream. That's right, folks. SimplySuperDave is going back to streaming as well. So if you want to really interact and be part of a live chat for about an hour to an hour and a half, maybe even two if you get lucky, of me rambling like an idiot and playing horribly at Fortnite, which is a game I love to death. I know we ain't gonna really... Why Fortnite? Okay. I get Call of Duty, Warzone, I get PUBG, I get Super People, I get all that, okay? Very realistic. Well, the thing is, though, I don't need that, okay? Here's the thing about it. No matter how realistic video games become, they'll never be realistic, okay? So I've let that go. Don't get me wrong. I still get a kick out of watching it and enjoy, and I'm like, it's just too much. I need a break from real life, realistic. So Fortnite is that perfect cartoonish feel. A lot of comic book fans, any genre, really, Fortnite has got you covered. And really love the game. And for almost 3 years now, I've been playing this game. And I love every minute of it. And I love being the type of player that I am. I love playing strategy-wise, hide-and-seek kind of thing. I take time in the bush to talk to the chat. We call that bush chat. And, we're just a bunch of people just hanging out, having a good time, talking about whatever topic that comes up. And I really do mean that. Just like here on the podcast, I openly invite anybody to suggest a topic. Hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Suggest a topic. YouTube, go in the comments section. Give me an idea. I will nail it on the next podcast. And that's how I kind of roll. But when I don't have interaction, I got plenty in me. So I always have something to talk about. Tonight's topic, that was just a monologue again. I am going to be on Twitch. When? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's right, the worst day of the week, hump day, and the best day of the week. And that's going to be at 3 p.m. Central Time. So that's going to go like this. 2 p.m. on the East Coast, 3 p.m. on Central, 4 p.m. Is that right? Am I going wrong? I am going backwards, actually, ain't I? Oh, I am. Holy shit. Okay, I did that completely wrong. Don't know my own time zones. 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock on the East Coast. That's right. 3 o'clock Central Time. That's my time. Mountain Time, obviously, is going to be 2 o'clock, and then 1 o'clock on the West Coast. This will make it more applicable also for the other side of the world. I have a few listeners that are over in the UK and Croatia, for example, popped in today. I think that's very awesomely cool. I also had a few listeners from the West Coast interacting in the stream. So definitely check it out. It's on the Twitch platform. So if you've never tried it, it's free. You can spend money in it to donate to streamers and be interactive in streams, but that is totally your call. If you got bills to pay like me, you don't have time to spend money on a platform. So it just depends on how important it becomes to you. I like the platform because of the interaction. I love showing support. If I don't do it money-wise, I do it in the chat. I'm very interactive when I can be. I lurk a lot, but I'm a very listening lurker. I will listen to the stream even though I am not chatting in it. I like to emote a lot. I love emotes in chat. That is my thing because maybe I don't have anything to say, but I want to let you know I'm listening. And there we go. And that's what I do. So, and then you have those awesome people that just have, the support both financially and, interactively. And those are kind of what a streamer is looking for. But I'm just looking for listeners. And so if you just want to sit in and lurk and not spend a dime, you will make me feel just fine. And I look forward to that. So definitely download that app, Twitch. Go in the search bar, look up SimplySuperDave, and give me a follow and turn that notification on because it only goes off 3 times a week and it's very rare. And come in and have fun. We have sound alerts that you can play for free. If you know my fetish for movies, then you definitely know I have some great lines from very famous films and a few great hip-hop songs in there. I try to find what I can to make it enjoyable for everybody that wants to stop through. Okay, now that we've gotten that all out of the way, let's talk about this week's topics. As you know, we did a podcast about Donald Trump, and that was because he was supposed to be arrested Tuesday, and he did not. They're putting off that till next week, so we might have to do another podcast about that. And it's basically not so much about Donald Trump and who he was as much as the rich just don't go to jail. They have to really fuck up, like Jeffrey Epstein. And then when you go to jail, you're a liability. I worry more about them living through the night more than anything else, if they deserve it. But if we need answers, then they don't deserve to die. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, get back to the point at hand. The other news this past week was, of course, about the famous TikTok ban and how China is really trying to invade your privacy. The world has invaded your privacy, okay? And it's been invited by everybody that's been on the social media platform. That is the known rule with the internet. We don't look at the internet like countries. We do get the idea, and this is the reason why I kind of gave it some legitimate thought that this is going to be a serious hearing, is because it is a China-owned company. And we all know, regardless of what that CEO says, if it's a China-owned company, then China's government calls the shots, and they don't have any say-so, and they will comprende and do exactly what their government demands them to do. So as much as I want to believe everything that the TikTok CEO would say, I also realize what country he, has to answer to. So, and you've heard the previous podcast, and you know exactly how I feel about China and how it treats its people and its own citizens. I'm a very big supporter of the Chinese people, but I am a big, what's the word for it, advocate against the Chinese government. I think they're very inhumane. I have seen them attack their own people and lock them in buildings and just do things that you just don't do in today's world. It's just not called for. It's apocalyptic kind of stuff maybe, but we're not in that kind of times. I'm sorry. And but anyway, I digress. So I can understand why the USA, being the complete polar opposite of a country that China is, where the government calls the shots. And here, our government has to discuss things, or at least explain themselves to us. In China, they come out and tell them. They don't really explain it a whole lot. They just, this is what we're doing because we're going to achieve this. But that's all we're saying, and then it's over. Here, we're like, well, do we want to do that? And it goes on for months. So at least be happy, that even though we do have a slower government, that it's because it's being discussed and not being just chosen for you. So remember, folks, when you go vote in that booth, it's important, even though you feel like it's not anymore. That's the trick. Don't let them fool you. It's the only power you have left. Anyway, all that from TikTok, right? Well, the thing is, folks, the way I look at it, once I wanted to wait until I heard the hearing to hear if they were going to ask real politically inclined questions. But they didn't. They kind of avoided any type of accusations about the Chinese government so much as about the company doing the dirty work. It's almost like they should have said it, because it's clearly that's what they're pointing to. But instead, we got questions about how it connects to the Wi-Fi network and how children can get on there and what are their regulations on everything. And it's the same as everybody else. If anything, this was a big show that even people in Congress, our own leaders, don't even know how their own fucking Wi-Fi works. They probably don't have a clue on what their passcode is, and they probably never hooked up a wire in their life. These are the people that's deciding your internet future, your future in the virtual reality that we are forced and are going to have to live with, as long as the power stays on, right? I mean, TikTok really is the first platform, and I do see a lot of things on TikTok that I see there first before I see on the news, or I never see on the news, but is really happening, and so I like that. I like visual stories along with information, so I can see and justify what's being said is true, or that's blown out of proportion, or chase baiting, or whatever. And that's why I like TikTok. And plus, I do create content. Follow me on TikTok, SimplySuperDave. I talked about this actually in the stream yesterday and clipped it and put it in a TikTok myself, just to express how funny that whole situation was and how ridiculous our government looks. I mean, you had some people up there, they didn't know what they were talking about. They called the company by the wrong name. It felt like a teenager being talked to by their great-grandparents about what's hip and cool in today's world. You listen to it, but you don't do it, because they don't know what is hip and cool anymore. They don't know how modern technology works. They know how the rotary phone does, though. That's great. But they don't know how it works, but they're making decisions about it, or they're threatening to ban something. First off, I don't care what it is, you're not banning anything. Not in the United States of America. I'm sorry, but that's a big no-no. And when a Gen X hears anything about something being banned, you stand up for it, even if you hate it, okay? Because it deserves the very same right as everything else does. And if TikTok is working within the regulations that any other app is, and they even go as far as having American data on American soil by American people doing American things. I mean, they really have said all the right things. They did anything but it was Congress that ended up looking like a fool today. Or yesterday, actually. And by the end of the week, into today, we are all seeing memes and everything else about this just awful display of intelligence on our part of government. It worries me. It really... I need people in there making decisions that know how to live life. Not people that know how to collect money. I mean, I don't know. I'm really worried about our political systems, to the point I worry about us as a society, because we keep electing these fools in there. Term limits is the biggest thing. I can't overly suggest that. I think people need to talk about that nonstop until it happens. I think that's the only way that you can get something to happen like that. And we need people on the inside, which I think there are several congressmen and House of Representatives. If you support those people, then they will push for term limits and they will have to vote on it. And if you're loud enough, they will put term limits, and that will fix a lot of problems in our government. because we got a lot of people carrying out agendas from 40 plus years ago, or carrying out feelings and thoughts that just aren't hip and cool anymore. We need people to push us in the modern right direction, using technology for what it's worth and to make it work best for the people in it. Our whole system is so complicated to the point where they make our voting system a joke. I mean, if you ask people from any other country how they vote, they take it very seriously. But here we got more people convinced not to vote because it doesn't matter anyway. That's pretty bad, okay? When the corruption is so widely accepted that it's okay, well, I just won't participate. That's how I'll support it. You're not doing anything. You're letting them walk by to kill many. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like there's a room full of kids and there's a gunman, and you just stand out of the way and you let him go through the door. You got to vote. You got to vote. I can't stress it more than enough, because one day, if you don't, there is going to be a gunman. We don't need to get to that point. We need the people to be more interactive, and I think technology can bridge that gap here in this country. It's not secure. Kiss my ass on that. We're 20-something years. Everybody's data, everything about their lives, every piece of paper they filled out for any government form, any kind of assistance to fucking buy a house or to fucking start a business. I don't care what you've done. You are already invested. Your Social Security number is an investment through the financial Federal Reserve banking system. Yeah, you don't know it, but you are worth money to them. That's why everything you do matters and why it costs something, because they got to get a return on their investment. That's all you are, folks, is a damn number. All right? And the government is needed to keep up with all those stats and money and keep everything on the books. But when the government gets so out of control, it takes the people to be able to put it back to what a working order of government is. And right now, we do not have that. We have a circus. We literally have a circus. It's almost like watching a bar fight unfold and you can't stop it. Okay? I'm so tired of hearing about these two parties and people going back and forth or tearing each other down. Look, if you're part of a party that tears down another group of people, you're not American enough for me. Okay? You need to step it up a little bit and grow the balls, because I figured if you maybe get balls, you might get brains. Because right now, I can't figure out why people would want to tear each other apart when it takes us working together to make our own Constitution work. Go ahead. Tear me down because I offended you just then. Or take a look at the man in the mirror like Michael Jackson told you to and make a fucking change and realize any hate or any kind of anger that you throw at another person for a reason that, I mean, really politics, that you got a problem, okay? They're going to destroy society. They have so much hate, they make me feel like I want to kill myself. Y'all just shut the fuck up. Both of you, shut the fuck up. Nothing's gonna fucking happen, okay? You're gonna go to your fucking house and mind your fucking business, Karen. And Shelley, Mr. Shelley, I guess, whatever, you can go over there and have your own show in your house. Drag it out. I don't care. Don't care. Because I want both of those people to be happy doing what they enjoy doing in their own place and their bubble. But a lot of people want to live outside their bubble. And those are the problem people. We can't let those people destroy our bubbles. And when that hate reaches your bubble and you react to it, you automatically leave your bubble. That's why I always talk about love and laughter. Because it's always the most unexpected reaction someone like that can get. And it throws them off. Throws them off good. And right then you have time. You know what you need to arm yourself with to take yourself on through this battle with everybody you deal with. And by the end of it, you're laughing together and maybe admitting that you don't agree, but you both mutually have respect for one another. That is always my goal when I know that this person isn't going to change their mind, just like I know I will not change my mind. I do not feel like there's a reason I need to hate this person. Why? I need this person to check me out at the dollar store every day. They're needed in my life. I don't care what they do when they go home. I don't care what they do at the club. I don't care what they do out back of the dollar store. I just care about what they do at this register. Anything beyond that is really none of my business. So, is TikTok invading your privacy? Or is it just something that is more useful than most other apps and is challenging them, like Facebook and so forth? Did you know a lot of money was put up by Zuckerberg to help with this ban against TikTok? The truth lies where the money is. Don't let this ban on TikTok seem like they're coming against your freedoms or they're guarding your secrets. Look, if they got your grandma's fucking cookie recipe, maybe they need it because they need something over there. I don't think they have the ingredients for the nice chocolate chip cookies, but I know they got rice, and they'll figure out a fucking rice cookie out of that recipe. And I guarantee you'll buy it in a Little Debbie box one day. Because China owns us, folks. This whole world is teetering on a fucking tot. What we didn't hear about this past week also in the news is how not only is China our biggest debtor, by the way. We owe China so much money. They own us, really. It's almost insane. But besides that, they have negotiated peace in the Middle East. Something that Donald Trump actually did before 2020 is that he negotiated a deal with Saudi Arabia, and, made the American dollar, made a deal. And they were supposed to back off from each other with Iran, and I don't know what he did exactly. All I know is he went in there and he figured out something. And that's impressive to me. I don't need to know the fucking YouTube how to do this shit in the Middle East, peace in the Middle East, but he did it. And then, of course, he got voted out, and then everything he did was taken away, and blah, 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 blah. But they're back to feuding. Well, China decided to step in, and they fixed the problem. Now, here's the problem that's going to be for us. Now, Saudi Arabia is a huge exporter of oil, and someone we have a lot of money invested in. All right, or depend on. Well, they're deciding to change their bottom line dollar or currency. I don't need to say dollar because it's going to be called the yuan or the yen or the yin, whatever it is that China and Russia and Iran and several other countries, I think they're up to 6 or 7 countries, have come together to make their own money. And it's a digital currency. Need I say. But it's invested in minerals and things that are actually tangible in that the countries produce. So that is a huge hit to the American dollar and a huge financial backing for Russia in their war with the Ukraine, which puts us in another position. What happens when we see Ukraine's going to lose this? Are we going to step in, or are we going to sit back and watch them collapse? That is the big question over the next several months that I'm interested in seeing what happens. Because we have invested not just money, but resources into this Ukraine effort against Russia. So it isn't like we just didn't have anything in on this. So are we going to sit back and watch it all fall? Or will we step in and then call the bluff of the nuclear showdown? And see if everybody will back down from there and we win. Or, let's face it, folks, this is setting up like something else that's happened in history. It's multiple countries in a situation with a conflict that is ongoing and happening at this very moment. So, who knows? Overnight, we can hear something that will trendset us right into war. But what I don't want to happen is have another Pearl Harbor moment. And what I mean by that is that we sat back quietly and did not get involved in World War II until Pearl Harbor was hit. And many lives were lost. And then we retaliated and got involved and eventually brought the victory to World War II, and that was a big deal against the Nazis. So, here we are again in history with another conflict in the world going on. Huge country attacking another country, and be honest with you, they've been very patriotic and very American, the Ukrainians have, from my perspective. I know a lot of people talk about the money. I don't care about money when it comes to people's lives dying on a daily basis, defending their own country. That kind of supersedes all that political money talk and what we're giving to them. I had the ambition, when I heard everything happening, I wanted to, if I was able, I would want to go over and volunteer myself as well. I mean, that's that red-blooded American in me. The Hulk Hogan, baby. I am a real American. Yeah, I ain't gonna do fight for the rights of every man. Anyway, Hulk Hogan fan. I mean, I grew up in the 80s. Good Lord, that was the big thing. Rock and wrestling. Cyndi Lauper, everything. It was great. But here we are. So what's going to happen? What's China's role going to be? Because now they're the peacekeepers, and they have created peace in the Middle East by bringing Iran and Saudi Arabia to an agreement and peace, ceasefire, whatever. And now they are both involved in this backing of their money system. That is also news that happened this week that I have not heard on Facebook or anything, or the media, or talking about it. But you got to find these things, and most of the time you'll find them on TikTok. And you'll find them from other people that have dug them up themselves. And then you can go and look and make sure it's kind of legit. And, well, that's a real story. I mean, that's what we got to do with every UFO sighting, right? We got to go see, is this legit? Is this really? Is there many people that see this? Is this confirmed? Oh, it's just a fake and deep fake shit, And the internet is tricky. That's why I say you got to know how to navigate it. I think that's why we need to have more internet classes involved in schools growing up, so kids won't be so lost into this crazy world, and know how to protect and invest their data into money, because that's where it's all going to be at in the next 10 years and plus. Everything is going to be digital, folks, and TikTok is not the problem. So when you hear about it being banned, just realize it's a bunch of other tech companies that are jealous of the big tech company that's rising up because it's doing something different. It's real simple, it's easy, it's quick, and you can find a lot of information from around the world. I don't care if there is an algorithm that suits whatever you talk or think about. Say everything more often, and maybe it'll show you everything. Think about it. You're in full control, even though the algorithm follows you. It follows you. So just be you. And that's how you stay super on the brink of World War III. I hope everybody had a great week, and I hope tomorrow you find some solace and some peace and quiet to find your zen to get ready for another one. That's right, folks. March is almost over with, and we're coming up on April Fool's Day. Also, we're just under, we're hitting about, 14 episodes away from episode 100, and I think we're going to do a live podcast for that one. So we'll set a date and time for that one. That way, if you want to jump into the live chat that I'll link up on Facebook, then you can jump in there and chat away with me on the podcast. All right, folks, I am out of here. I hope everybody has a fantastic Saturday, and I hope the news didn't bum you out too much. But don't forget, half of that is just a bunch of bullshit. And remember, you're smarter than your leaders are. So why don't you take control of your one political power, and that's vote their asses out for doing a horrible job. Term limits, don't forget about it. Talk about it more, and dash a little love and laughter on it, because that's what conquers all that hate and fear and makes you the conqueror, not another victim.